Hey, I would like to speak to you just for a few minutes about the data that you provided us, specifically addressing attrition at Budweiser. So why are we looking at attrition today? Well, it cost us. It's going to cost us the company and productivity cost and frustration, people leaving, coming in, training cost, even recruitment cost of trying to fill those spots. So what are we going to do? Identify out of the data that you gave us those factors that seem to be leading to attrition, and then address those. The data that you gave us, great set of data, over 1,100 observations. We're only going to use one response variable today, and that's attrition. But we did have 31 different possible explanatory variables broken down into just the basics of like age, attrition, business travel, daily rate, how much people made, genders, those kind of things. Pretty basic data. Let's look at some of the factors. We did have 5 or 6 that we can look at right off the bat to start addressing. The first one we wanted to look at was the job roles and how they broke down to see if that affected it. And we did find a pretty significant number in the sales representatives leaving. And then it got a little bit, lab techs were a little lower, sales executives and human resources were still in the top 3 and 4 there. We did want to look at the job satisfaction numbers that you gave us and see if that was some sort of correlation where you could look at that. We didn't really see too much. Human resources were a little bit, or we're towards the bottom, but not too much there. The next one is overtime. We did notice a very significant amount of attrition in that. This chart shows that people who do work overtime, and now it's looking at 29% attrition rate in that. Marital status, singles did seem to leave more. You just couldn't hold them down. It seems like married or divorced were staying around. And then the next one, we wanted to kind of look at how the male and female, kind of a gender breakdown. And we didn't actually see too much specifics in that. Male and females both were in that teens rating, so not too bad there. The travel, though, we did notice your sales guys that are on the road a lot seem to be leaving a little bit more. Looking at this, travel versus any of the non-travel or rarely traveling, you can definitely tell the difference there. We did want to look at some of the correlations in the data just to make sure there wasn't any multi-collinearity in some of the other ones causing some problems there. There were 7 of them that stuck out, but it was pretty much the job level was correlated with their monthly income. Also things like the years that they worked there, had a higher income. All right, let's look at some of the modeling that we did and then a validation in that, see if we can predict some of the things, see about the attrition rates. So we ended up using 4 different models. They were all logistic regression models, but just kind of the way we handled the data. The first one was kind of an all-in model. We just used all of the predictors and put them in just to see what we could come up with. It was 86%. The second one, we only used those that were significant in the ratings, and we actually scored, that was actually the lowest one. The third one, we ended up with about 18 different predictors, kind of just tweaking things out, and that showed up be our best one, right at 88%. And then our fourth one, we tried to play around with some of the numbers just to see if we could make a little bit better prediction, but we didn't. Now, 18 predictors is a lot to deal with, but we did notice out of those 4 models that kind of a few of them kind of stood out more than others, things you might want to look at. Business travel was very significant. Get those guys and gals off the road more, seems to lead to less attrition. And also distance from home stood out too, that those traveling in with that longer commute might want to look at things like a work from home program. Environmental satisfaction, job satisfactions, kind of looking at the ways that they work and where they work and address those kind of things. Marital status was still interesting, still stood out a lot. And with the singles, I might want to implement some program that specifically kind of helps those guys out, those girls out. And then also years since last promotion, maybe clarify some of the things that bring them in. But that is pretty much it. And just kind of look at ways that you can help with that promotion. I want to thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, just let us know.